Episode of How You're Getting Fucked. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Imagine a major modern automaker has two ways to try and get you to do what it is they want. Behind door number one, they can explain the benefits of doing things this way. They could explain how you save money doing things this way. Behind door number two, they can try to come up with new and innovative ways to limit the car and fuck with you. Which one do you think the modern automaker is going to do? If you're guessing number two, you're correct. Before we get into the topic of today's video and how BMW is fucking you, which we go over many times in this channel, whether we're talking about them trying to turn heated seats into a subscription or patenting a new and innovative screw that makes it more difficult for people with a standard mechanic's garage to be able to open your car. Today, we're going to be discussing the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So first, let's just get started. What is the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle? A plug-in hybrid electric vehicle tries to combine the best of both worlds from having a gas car or an electric car. The benefits of a gas car are energy density. If you want to recharge an electric car from 0 to 100, you're going to be waiting 20 to 40 minutes. If you want to recharge a gas car, you're going to be spending 45 to 90 seconds filling it up, which makes it much better for a longer trip in that regard. If you are going to be making multiple stops along a 1,700-mile trip, the gas car is going to be less inconvenient there than the electric car. More importantly, when you buy an electric car, you're spending a lot of money on a gigantic battery. So a gas tank is literally a container for liquid, whereas a lithium-ion battery that has the ability to travel something like 300 miles is going to be $15,000 to $30,000. If you get a plug-in electric hybrid, the way these work is you're getting a small battery that maybe can do 15 to 30 miles, depending on how crazy you drive, in one go, and then they put an engine in it that runs on gas that's going to power that battery, so when that battery runs out, the engine can then power the electric motor and the battery and everything in the car. The way this gets you the best of both worlds is you get the electric motor, which can be more efficient. It can, again, in my case, having an electric car, I spend something like about somewhere around $9 to get 250 to 260 miles if I charge at home, which is much cheaper than paying for gas. And this is pre-Iran war. And you also get some of the increased genuine reliability of electric motors. There's just less shit to fail in there. Most people do not make commutes that are longer than 9 to 20 miles. I'm not saying you never do, but most people don't. Most commutes are short commutes. So if you're making commutes that are 15 to 30 miles, most of the time you're going to be using the more efficient portion of the car and the portion of the car that has less shit that can break, which is great. But if you're going to be taking a longer road trip, you can then have the benefit of that gas engine where you're getting 300 to 600 miles topped up in 45 seconds at a gas station, and you have the energy density there. And you're not paying the full crazy price that you would pay to get an electric car that has 400 or 600 miles of range, which is great. Now, the thing is that there are many different ways you could use this car. Again, it is up to you. Do you want to plug it in? Do you want to only plug it in when you want to plug it in? Do you want to fill it up with gas? You have the freedom to use the car the way you want. But the problem is a lot of people are not using the car the way they're supposed to use it. The way you're supposed to use it is you're supposed to plug it in at the end of every day, and then you're supposed to use it and then only use gas when you run out of electricity. Admittedly, that's probably the way that I would use it because it's cheaper. The electricity that I use to charge my car is way less cheaper per mile driven than using gas. That's just undisputed. Again, if we're talking about the price of the car or anything else, that's one thing, but the electricity is just way cheaper than the gas. But that's how I would drive the car. But again, that's just up to me. There are some people that forget to do this now and then. And BMW has come up with an interesting way to try and tackle what they see as a problem here. So firstly, they see this as a problem. They see your behavior as an issue, and they want to change how you deal with this when you use the car. So in an interview with German newspaper, the automaker's chairman of the supervisory board proposed an interesting idea. Nicholas Peters said it's technically possible to monitor how plug-in hybrid electric vehicle owners use their cars and how frequently they charge the battery. If they never plug in, a technical measure could persuade them to use a charging port, reduced engine power. And I quote, "This is a behavioral problem that discredits a climate-friendly technology that could actually be a good way to introduce people to e-mobility, especially where the infrastructure is still too sparse. One measure would be for car manufacturers to be able to document and even penalize usage patterns. If a driver never charges their battery, engine power could be reduced. Technically, this is feasible." Now, this is one of those problems that I've run into when I've started new organizations or I've had the culture slide at an existing organization where you can follow the thread of thinking as to how you got to where you are. And each individual step makes sense. But if you zoom out to the bigger picture, it's just, what the fuck was I even doing? And sometimes it's very hard to do that zooming out to the bigger picture. So here, when I zoom out to the bigger picture, what I see that's weird is there are so many ways that you can motivate people And the first thing that you default to when you're speaking to a major newspaper is penalizing the driver, punishing the driver. Here's the first thing that would come to my mind. Firstly, I don't see it as a behavioral problem. How you use the thing that I sold you is on you. I sold you the product, it's yours. It's not on me how you use it anymore. But if I actually did see this as a problem, here's the way that I would address it. I would think, the car has access to your location already, right? Okay, the car could then potentially use some sort of API to figure out what electric costs versus gas costs are in your area. It could see how long you've driven on gas and then come up with some calculation. Hey, it seems like you haven't plugged in the car in a while. You would have saved $80 this month if you plugged it in. Consider plugging it in. And then have like a little dollar sign or something that shows up on the screen, or have something show up on the screen that makes clear, here's how much money you are wasting here. And if you want it to be really obnoxious with it, here's all the shit that you could buy with the money that you have wasted by not using the car the way we think you should use it. That's what I would do. I would try to inform the user. I would maybe have a little bit of humor with it, but that's not how they think. The first thing that comes to their mind is, how can we fuck with the user? How can we penalize the user? How can we punish the user? And that's the problem that I have with the way a lot of companies think in the modern day. Because if you brought this to me as a problem, it would not even enter my fucking mind to try and come up with some sort of new artificial way to restrict the engine unless you do what I want. And this seems like a really slam dunk case for it, because this is not a case of you're asking people to do something that's inconvenient and spends more money. Getting gas does actually take time. While charging your car takes longer, when you're talking about taking a car and parking it in a garage that has electric charging, or you're talking about taking a car and parking it into your own garage, one of the great things about having an electric car for me is I don't have to waste time going to the gas station. People always say, don't you hate wasting time charging? I don't. I get home, I do this, and that's it. I don't have to go around the corner, make a left, stop over here, get out of my car, do this, say hi to somebody, put my credit card in the machine, put this. I don't have to do any of that shit. I don't have to go somewhere else. I just go home and I do this and I'm done and I'm ready to go. What if you did something like that? What if you said, here's how much time you wasted pumping gas in the last 2 months for trips that were under 30 miles in length? Here's what else you could do with that time. Again, whether you present it in an obnoxious way or a polite way is up to you, but there's so many ways to point out to the customer, here's how much time you're wasting, here's how much money you're wasting. And then I would maybe have an option. What if you're parking in a garage that doesn't have charging as an option? Where I lived in New York City, the garage that was by my house was about $300 a month. I only had a car for about a year when I lived in New York. I didn't for the most of it, but there was a garage that was about $300 a month. If I wanted a garage with charging, that would have been about $600 to $700 a month. I don't want to pay an additional $300 to $400 a month to charge my fucking car. And the garage that I was in actually raised their price to $450 right before I left, which is great because I just decided, fuck it, I'll just park my car somewhere else for the month or two that I'm left here. My point in the matter is, what if somebody's in a situation where they're literally not able to plug in their car, or they can plug in their car, but it's additional $300 to $600 a month? Are you taking that into consideration when you're penalizing them, when you're talking about punishing them? Are you going to give them the option in any way, shape, or form to put into the car that information? For me, I would at least ask the user, hey, do you ever have an option to charge your car? Yes. Okay, just so you know, here's how many times you had a trip that was under 30 miles, and these trips that were under 30 miles could have been charged up at home. Here's how much money you would have saved. Here's how much time wasted at the gas station you would have saved. I would try to inform them. And again, this comes back to what I've said in a video that I did a while ago on good versus bad activism. Good activism, in my opinion, is showing people how you can better their lives. It's showing people how you can, like, here's my interest, but here's how my interest can be used to make your life better. Here's how what I'm interested in is something that allows you to fix something that somebody else told you would cost $2,000, but here's how you can do it for free or for $75 yourself. It's not scolding people. It's not, you should fix things because that's the sustainable thing to do. How dare you? I'm going to penalize you. Like, how far would I have gotten with any of the right to repair stuff that I've tried to do and push in the culture if, rather than try and show people my joy, show people what it's like when the fan spins and it's fun again, when you are able to save $400 or $800 or $2,000 or $5,000, or get your baby pictures back when somebody else said it was impossible, if I were just lecturing you instead? How far would I have gotten with any of my advocacy work if, instead of trying to share my joy with you, if I was just lecturing you and saying, if you don't fix something, that means that you are bad, we are going to penalize you, we are going to make sure that when you replace your device, the device that you replaced the broken one with, it's going to work slower than the old one did because you didn't do it my way. How far do you think it would have gone with any of this stuff? And I think the reason this bothers me more than anything else is not even just because it's an evil, shitty thing to do. It's not even effective. And it actually winds up getting people to hate what it is you're advocating for. And I see this with a lot of people that advocate for a climate-friendly technology, where, again, I'm not even against what it is you're doing, but just you shoot yourself in the foot so often when you don't have to, in the way that you have these conversations, when you talk about people as just livestock to be controlled and beaten and whipped, rather than people that have their own independent thoughts, minds, hearts, and decisions that they have to make in their own personal lives. Fuck you, Nicholas Peter. Fuck you. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.